اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الأئمة والمهدين وسلم تسليما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, my voice is reaching you while we're in good health and faith, inshallah. I am Labbayk Ahmed, and inshallah today we are talking about a really important topic. Just crossed my mind. I was thinking about this word and the hereafter, this dunya, this word and the hereafter. How many times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the hereafter and the blessings of the hereafter, while on the other side He always mentions how this life is a test for us. It's not a place for residence. It's not a place that is eternal. It is not for playing and being pleased with this land, with this earth, with this world. But everyone is going to die, and we are tested in this world. So we are here for a test. So even like if you ask someone, if you ask him like to enumerate things that happened in his life, let's say that man is around 60 years, 70 years, like old enough so that if we ask him, he will have much about his life. And you just ask him to enumerate the most important things that happened in his life and the experiences that he learned from this life. How much do you imagine he can talk, and then that's all, he stops? How much can he talk? Like for an hour, 2 hours, maybe only an hour, and he stops. Even if he knows like how to talk much, he won't talk about himself in this life for more than few hours. So basically the life of a human, which can be expressed or briefed to only an hour or few hours, is rather to be left. The life of 60 or 70 years that can be briefed into only few hours or even 1 hour, then the man is supposed to not work for it, because this life, if it has a value, then we would have spoken much about it. We would have learned more about it. But if you ask like an old man to just tell you about the experiences in his life, he won't talk for more than hours. He won't talk for more than 3 hours. So the man is not supposed to consider this material world. He's supposed to not work for it, because if it had a value, if it's valuable in Allah's eye, or it's valuable in the believer's eyes, then it won't be briefed into only a few hours when you're talking about it. So the one who has intellect, who's intelligent, he's supposed to work for a life that is eternal, a lasting life, not a life that can be briefed into a few hours or even 1 hour. A life that is heaven, a life that you find Allah's satisfaction and please, a life that is eternal, the way Allah is eternal. That life, you can't stop talking about it. That life is immortal. That life where the person's name is written to be alive by Allah's life and lasting by Allah's last, isn't it? So basically it's the same as the lost in Prophet. Even in this form, even though we seek refuge from Allah from worshipping Him, the worship of traders, it is also mentioned by Imam alayhi salam, Imam Ahmad al-Hasan. It is when you work and wait to be paid. What is supposed to happen is that when the man is dealing with his Lord, Allah the Almighty, he shouldn't make it as a contract. I give you and you give me. What could we give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do we have something to give Allah? He subhanahu wa ta'ala, He favored upon us and accepted our support to His successor in His land. So how can we make it as a contract? How can we wait for a return to be paid back? We should be shyer when we see how Allah blessed us with His favors and blessings and ultimate giving, not asking to be paid back. Now we, or basically the mankind, is tested between two lives, this world and the hereafter. There are two lives, there are two words, a word or life that can be briefed for few hours when we talk about it, and a life that is eternal and lasts by Allah's lasting. Eternal the way Allah is eternal. So subhanallah, when we go back to the narrations in a hadith and even the Holy Quran and the Bible, we see that how many times did the prophets and imams alayhim salam, they were trying to wake us up and tell us this life is not eternal. This dunya is just taking you away from the truth, because this life is not truth. This life is not truth. This materialistic world is not a truth. Now when we read the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said the worst of people is the one who trades his next word for enjoyment of this word, and worse than him is the one who trades his next word for enjoyment of someone else in this world. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, say, if your fathers and your sons and your brethren and your mates and your kinsfolk and property which you have acquired, and the slackness of trade which you fear and dwellings which you like, are dearer to you than Allah and His Messenger, and striving in His way, then wait till Allah brings about His command, and Allah does not guide the transgressing people. Subhanallah, see what Allah said. So basically, this life, we should not just direct ourselves into working into this world and forgetting the learning of teachings of Ahlul Bayt, the teachings of Allah in the holy books, in the narrations, in the ahadith and so on. Because basically we are created in this world for a test. We are not here to build a house. We're not here to gather money and gold and diamonds and so on. We are here for a reason. We are created for a reason. We're not created to live in this dunya, in this world. We are here for a test, and we are here as just travelers. We are not here. This is not our residence. Our residence is in the hereafter. Hereafter is the residence. It is the way where you put your packages down, your bags down. Here you can't leave your bag and say, I have found my place and I'll stay there. Because basically this word is a sheet over the hill. So who likes this word and is attached to this word, to the sheet of this word, then anytime this sheet will break up. And so who loves this word and who's attached to the sheet of this word is actually attached to hell. And when it just tear up, if this sheet is torn, then the man just falls into the abyss of the hell. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all and take us away from this hell. Subhanallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, every soul shall taste of death, and you shall only be paid fully your reward on the resurrection day. Then whoever is removed far away from the fire and is made to enter the garden, he indeed has attained the object, and the life of this world is nothing but a provision of vanities. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed us that who's removed far away from the fire. So where are we now? We are on fire. We are on a very thin sheet over the fire. Now, when you read again this verse, على شفا حفرة من نار, that this word is so near to the fire. And in this verse that I just read in the Noble Quran in chapter 3, verse 185, it says, then whoever is removed far away from the fire and is made to enter the gardens, or is made to enter the heavens. So basically, where are we removed from? We're removed from fire. So where are we now? We are on the fire. This dunya is just above a very thin sheet of fire. So whenever this sheet is torn, you won't find yourself only in fire if you are attached to this word and its ornaments. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, and leave those who have taken their religion for a play and an idle sport, and whom this world's life has deceived, and remind them thereby, lest the soul should be given up to destruction for what it has earned. Subhanallah. So why I have made this is that we don't want to regret on the day of judgment and say we are not being told or we didn't know about it. This is something that we should learn in this world. We should know before the test is over and the papers are taken from us and then we won't find ourselves, and we can't even regret because there's no way to regret. I had a small story. I would like to share it with you. There was like a group of people who were traveling on rocks at night. A voice came from the sky that whosoever picks up the rocks will regret, and whosoever does not pick up the rocks will regret too. So now the people were confused. How can this be? Whether you pick up the rocks or not, you will regret. Some people picked up the rocks and some did not. In the morning, when they reached their homes, they saw that the rocks turned into diamonds. The rocks they have taken had turned into diamonds. So now those people who did not pick up the rocks started regretting, saying, if only we had picked up some rocks. And those people who did pick some rocks also started regretting, and they said, why didn't we pick up some more rocks? So both sides ended by regretting. Now, this same incident will also take place with us on the Day of Judgment. Now, those people who spend their time in useless things will start regretting by looking at those who achieved a great position in paradise by spending their time in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, working for their imam, working for gaining knowledge and teaching others and helping the poor ones and helping their brothers and sisters in religion and also non-religion. Basically, killing their ego and helping others. Now, those who did achieve a position in paradise will also start regretting by looking at those who did more than them and are higher in status. Alas, if we had only done more to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Majestic, said, and could you but see when the guilty shall hang down their heads before their Lord? Our Lord, we have seen and we have heard, therefore send us back, we will do good. Surely now we are certain. Subhanallah. Now, after the test is over, they will regret and they want again to be tested so that they make better choices in this life and to do more good and to achieve more. So subhanallah, now we have the chance. We have the chance to increase our knowledge. We have the chance to learn and pray and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way He wants. We have still a chance. Now we all have chances. And by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for those who believed in the Imam of their time, which is Imam Ahmad al-Hassan, a messenger from Imam Mahdi to the Muslims, messenger from Elijah to the Jews, and messenger from Jesus to the Christians, it is a blessing from God that we knew our Imam. So basically, what we have to do is work. As Imam Ahmad al-Hassan said in the sermon of Hajj, work and work and work, because in work is your salvation. In work is your salvation. You don't say that you believed and that's it. No. Who said that we are in heaven? Who said that we are sure of our hereafter? We should always work and strive in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and work on rescuing the people and showing them the truth. Because this life is just going to end up one day, and this life is only a test. It's not for us to be comfortable in it. It's not for us to sleep in it or just work for it. This life is to work for Allah, to worship Allah, and to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.